Welcome, everyone. We are live on this glorious Tuesday. Oh, yes, it is Tuesday. 8 days remaining. It is Tuesday. Listen, I just want you all to know it's a beautiful day. It's snowing outside, so I shall be brief. But we were reading the lecture last night, and the word yield came up. Now, I know some of us may not know what this is in traffic terms, right? But if you look at life, everything yields. Oh, why would you say everything yields? Because it is effortless. It is effortless. When the moisture builds in the air, it rains. When the temperature is at zero and that moisture is full in the air, it snows. It doesn't say, I think I can. Oh, I must. Let me force it out. No, everything yields. We yield to winter. We yield to summer. We yield to the singing of the best bird in the world. We yield. But we think yielding is bad. Because I remember growing up, there was a song, a hymn. Wait for it. Yield not to temptation, for yielding is sin. Huh? For yielding is sin, is what they taught us. Ah! When in actuality, it is the very act of yielding that brings freedom. Well, Angela, that's a real fancy schmancy word, but I still don't know what it means to yield. You don't know what it means to yield? Well, you can look at yielding in a number of ways. When you pick the stuff from the garden, that's your yield, your bounty. But either way you look at it, you have to accept what was there. You yielded to it. What did your crop bring forth? It was your yield, right? But when you're talking about living, we yield all the time because it is our natural state of being. When you are tired, what do? Yield to sleep. You say to sleep, oh, I cannot fight you. Just have your way with me, sleep. And you surrender, you yield. And you allow sleep to do what it needs to do to replenish you. You don't fight it, you go with it. So to yield is to go with life. But here's the beauty of going with life. When you understand that life will follow, life will yield to you. Oh, how does life yield to you? How does life yield to you? Life yields. I yield to him. I can't make more noise than that, my Lord. Listen, we yield, right? But life yields to us. How? Because you say, and we say by making a choice. Once we make a choice, life yields, and it brings whatever that thing is into existence. Every day I give you examples. Well, since we were reading lots about, yes, baby, a little bit does say yield. He says, yield to me, mother. But when we yield, right, it is, it's not by force. Some of us yield from exhaustion. Hmm? Some of us yield because we are exhausted. But to truly yield is to look at your life and say, wait a minute, I want something beautiful for my world. I'm going to mold and shape something beautiful. I'm going to form the blueprint for something beautiful. and then you yield to it. Well, how do you yield to it? Once you have chosen it, it can only grow according to your choice. There's nothing else you can do. It's like yielding to pregnancy. Once that takes root, you can only let it grow from there. And you yield to your cravings. I'll tell you, you yield to your cravings. Sometimes they're so bad you will eat it off the floor. Oh, yes, shamefully. Popcorn was my thing. My son loves popcorn, by the way. And that's what I loved. I had to eat it off the floor. It would drop out of the bowl. And I'm like, nope, not one kernel wasted. But I clean those floors, so I know what it's about. I had to yield to that craving. I didn't fight it. Fight it? Are you kidding? But this is the encouragement today. We fight and struggle and we rail against life. We push against it all the time. No, I can't have this. No, shouldn't do that. No, this is wrong. No, this is that. This is, oh God, no wonder we're tired. When we yield, yielding is the most beautiful thing that we can do. It is. It will give you energy. It will give you energy when you yield. But Angela, I still don't understand yielding. Okay. You say you want a new job because this is the world we live in, right? So whether it's a job, it's a car, it's money, it's spirituality, what do you want? Right? When you acknowledge what you want, yield to it. To yield is you don't have to figure out how to do it because you cannot see all of the ways of how to do it. Our view is limited. Oh, but what if I do this over here? What if I do that over there? See, that's where the moment you fracture the energy, meaning the moment you divide your attention, you're no longer yielding. Your attention is simply on the, I set the blueprint, and all it can do now is unfold. And you carry on. I told you yesterday, the best analogy I had for this is when you're driving. You stop at a red light and you don't throw the car in park, but you throw you in park. You say, "Ooh, can I imagine?" As you begin to imagine and you feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled, meaning, oh look, every time I have this image, I know that it is done. It is completed, and I'm satisfied with its completion. And the light goes green, and you put that aside because you have to focus on something else. So the green light would be living because you have to move through life. You're living. But what we tend to do, what gets us held up, we don't yield. We say, but I don't know how to get this done. I am famous for saying that. And I say, oh, I don't know how. The principles tell you how. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. As within the mental, so outside is the form. As within, so without. As above, so below. As above in the mind, so below in the body. As above in the mind, so below in the world. And how does that happen? Because it moves, it vibrates. The image you hold in your mind vibrates, it moves, it has to move. It's like one of those cartoon artists when they do the little flip book and they flip it, and the little man in the beginning, he's not doing anything, and you turn the page, he's doing something else. But when you flip the pages, it appears as if he's doing activity. That's what's happening with the image in your mind. So that you turn it this way and that way, and you say, oh, let me tweak it over here. Let me reshape it over here. You're always moving that. You're always moving the image. And you're moving the image from within to without. From within to without. What does without mean? On the outside. From the inside to the outside. That's where you're moving it from. The inside to the outside. And the intensity of what is on the inside has to be the same as on the outside. As within, so without. There's an apple within, there has to be an apple on the outside. Because you're always in correspondence with what you say you are. So every single day, life shows you exactly how to live it. It shows you how to yield. But somewhere along the line, mm, mm. I'm reading you, Bewee. I'm reading you because he says I suffer from this because of OCD. The law agitated and got me caught in my head trying to control the universe. So I struggled to yield to any of my imaginations ever. You see, this is because we think we're in control. Once you make a choice, your control ends. Well, how can I be so sure? Once I have chosen to plant something in the backyard, what I plant must grow. I have to reap what I have sown. There's no amount of coercion, no amount of naked moonlight dancing that is going to make that thing do it any faster or any slower or not at all or whatever. It does what it is going to do in the only way it can. Like garlic. Garlic likes to feel the cold. Well, no wonder, because you plant it in October. You bury it in October because it loves the cold. That is the nature of garlic. And so said, so done. So once you choose to plant garlic, you know you plant in October, you reap in June, July. You just got to be prepared for that. That is its nature. So you yield to garlic. You cannot force life, but you get to choose the type of life. This is your power. But we think, because we hear the word free will. Yes, it is free will of choice. But allegedly, choice is an illusion. How can it be an illusion? Well, it depends where you're choosing from. And do you know where you're choosing from? If you don't know where you're choosing from and you just choose, which is how we live, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, 95% of our actions are unconscious. 95% of our actions are unconscious. So we yield to the unconscious thing that runs in the background. But the great news is this. If you pay attention to what you do, you will see what is hidden. You will see that thing that is ruling you from the shadows. You'll see it if you pay attention. I told you, how do you know when you come upon it? You'll say, oh my God, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing that? Right there, ding, 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 ding. That is the hidden thing. And so when you see the hidden thing, you say, wait a minute, I don't like that. So what do? You shed some light on it. And how do you shed light on it? By acknowledging its existence. You say, oh, that's what I do. Well, here's what I want to do instead. And you begin to practice that thing. Remember, you're not fighting against the old, but you're rehearsing and practicing the new. If you fight against the old, it stays because you are looking at it. So today, be if you say, I got OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive, you obsess. Listen, that's a good thing. It means you have the ability to focus singly. And that is a very good thing. Because when you focus, right, what happens? You build momentum when you focus. Now, the obsessive part there, you grasp that, look, I can focus, yes, but All I need focus on is I made this choice and it will unfold. End of story. The compulsion is to go back. We are always compulsive, just so you know. Why do you think we have habits and we follow them? You're compelled to do the habit. So compulsion then is natural to us. Oh, compulsion is natural to us because of the principle of rhythm. It's a pattern. You do the same thing the same way every time. But in order to comprehend rhythm, you must understand that you would be the one to choose the rhythm. Whereas before, when we were youngsters, the rhythm is chosen for us because we do something in response to something else as youngsters because we lack discernment as little people, children. And so we learn how to cope with something and we do that thing to cope over and over and over, and it just becomes a habit for you and me. It just becomes a habit after that because you've been doing it so long. So you have yielded to your coping mechanism. That's if you can understand that part, you've yielded to your coping mechanism. So here's the thing, you're always going to have to yield. Always. It is life, it is law. So choose what you want to yield to. Scripture tells you, choose this day whom you will serve. You think that means a man? You think that means a reptilian? Uh-oh. Choose this day whom you will serve. The habit that you have rehearsed your whole life is what you serve. But here's our freedom. Here's our Savior. The desire to change. If that desire to change is stronger than your desire to remain the same, you will get up one day and it'll be cold turkey and you will never do it again. Without effort, without force, because the desire to change was greater. It's a scale. You tip the scale to change. And thus you yielded to the desire of change. Change is inevitable. We all yield to change. I got gray hair, Lord have mercy. Ah, I tell my child, pluck it out. He says, no. And I said, how dare you? But we yield to change. My mustache is a little bigger than his, but we yield to change. Listen, you can try to fight it all you want, but it is a lesson in futility. Let me put it in English. You have something you want to accomplish. It doesn't matter what it is. An addiction, poverty, I don't care what it is. The process is exactly the same. The thing you have in your life is there because your attention is always on it. It's all you can see. It's all you can think about. Shoot, we obsess about it. We think about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. We complain about it all the time. But it is in the complaining that you've made your choice. The thing you complain about is where you've put your time and your effort and your energy, and that is what you have chosen. So when we stop and we ask, why is this happening to me? Because we complain about it all the time. That is not an admonition, I want to say. It's not a slap on the wrist. It is a gentle shaking, just a little bit, just you know, to say to you, when you comprehend what you are doing, you will change. But when you cannot see it, how can you change? So look at your life. And you don't have to go digging It's the thing that says, why again? That's it right there. That's what it is. So you don't have to go. You see, this is the mercy of God, if you want to say so. It's always in your face. It's in my face, right? It is right there for you to look at it. But you have two choices. Look at it or pretend that it doesn't exist. Oh, you want the fastest way to drive yourself crazy? Pretend that it doesn't exist. Pretend. Do not lie to yourself. Acknowledge what is in front of you. Acknowledge that habit. There's no shame in it because we all have habits. I'm not here to judge yours. I don't know your life. So why would you judge your habit? So don't do that. Just acknowledge it and you realize, oh, shoot, I've been doing this for a long time. I started doing it in response to that thing. Well, because now you spot your trigger. You spot why you do it. And then you understand, oh, well, I could only ever do that thing then because it has its own way. So you can only act in response to that. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. So now that you know that, you want a different effect. What effect do you want? Now you can't force it, but what can you do? Rehearse in imagination how you would behave with your new effect. What would your attitude be like? What would your behavior be like? Get inside your mind because that's where you always are anyway. We're always seeing things in our mind's eye. Every day, all day, we do it. A new idea to design a website, a new idea for marketing. Where did you think that comes from? Not your butt. It comes from your brain. But what powers the brain? You. The imaginative power that causes your brain to say, oh, look at this. I could do this. And you lose yourself in that imagination. You turn it over, mull it over until it feels right to you. Ah, this is exactly what I want. And as soon as it feels right, or as Neville Goddard says, it takes on the tones of reality. It feels real to you because that's something you would actually do. Well, then you know you're done. You've planted the seed. What tells you that you have planted the seed? The, I got it. That's the feeling I want right there. See, this is the image. And when you see it in your head, like the seamstress, when she sees the image of the dress in her mind's eye, the exact way she wants it, she goes, yeah. She goes out and she gets the yarn because she gonna crochet or knit this bad boy. She gets the colors that she wants. Why? Because the image is secure in her mind now, and she can follow it for every single stitch there is. But she will not act until that image in her mind's eye is as she wants it to be. It is the exact same thing that you and I do, day in and day out, with everything. The route you take to work, the food you cook, the website you design, the thing you 3D print, the herbal decoction you put together. You get it just right in your mind's eye, and it has to unfold in the only way that it can, which is the way it matches. So what did you do? You yielded. You surrendered to it. But you'll notice we surrender when it feels. Hmm? When it feels. So what are you feeling today? And some say, well, I don't know. I just can't put it into words how I feel. Okay, so if you can't put it into words, does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Does it feel indifferent? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? What does it feel like? You at least know that part. Oh, well, I feel so low and heavy. Or I feel so carefree because it feels light, doesn't it? So we always know, but we're so quick to say, I don't know. slow to speak, means you're busy thinking. So today, my beautiful friends, yield. Yield to the principles. Because you can't not. It is a beautiful thing when you understand that. That as within, so without. So to yield to that principle of correspondence, it means get right within myself. Because as I am on the inside, who I say I am, that's who I am on the outside. Yield to it. Come to terms with that. Yield to the rhythm. And understand that, wait, I don't like this particular rhythm. Well, how do you form a rhythm? You got to start with a pattern, right? And what's the pattern? You decide. You choose what action you can commit to without complaint. Choose the action you can commit to. And once you choose it, you'll do it, and you'll do it, and you'll do it. And before you know it, you'll say, why, snap, I have changed my life. Angela, that's too easy. And what do you possibly think yielding entails? Our whole lives, we've been deceived to say life is a struggle. And of course, some would argue and say, but yes, Angela, it has been a struggle. You don't know it. You don't know my life. But we struggle because we do not yield. That's why we struggle. Because we don't yield. We fight and think that's how we make a difference. It is always the imaginative one who will lead the way. Sometimes, listen, good, bad, or indifferent, it is always the imaginative person who leads the way. Nikola Tesla. And ain't nobody came up with nothing since 150 years of his imagination. Nobody. Oh, we think we have, but we're all using his base and his foundation. But don't get it twisted. Oppenheimer was also imaginative. Because imagination can be used in whatever way you choose. It does not discriminate. You can use imagination to bring life. You can use imagination to take it. It doesn't judge. That is now where we practice discernment. You see? So don't get it twisted. How do you do it? Know what you want. Know what you want to become. In other words, know what you want to become. Well, then, after you know what you want to become, instead of, well, I want that, I want that. No, no. What do you want to become? Well, once you can answer that question, what you want to become, get into your mind's eye and rehearse being it. Rehearse being it. Rehearse being it. Over and over again until it feels real to you. Until every single stitch and frill is in the place you want it to be. That's it. And as soon as you get it right, the way you want it to look, a feeling overtakes you because it's natural. The feeling says, oh, I got it. You know exactly what that cake is going to look like. And then that's when you get up and you do it. Pay attention to what you do and you will understand that you live this way already. I'm not telling you that it's new. I'm telling you, you just don't see it because it is so natural. And that's why it is natural, because it is the way it unfolds. The moment that grandma says, we gonna have some borscht tonight. We gonna have some brenike tonight, pierogies. with some kubasa or some bratwurst. The moment she gets that dish together in her mind's eye, she gets up and gathers the ingredients. Because there's no effort. But why would you stand in front of the cupboard to figure it out? No, get it in your mind's eye so that when you open the cupboard, you know exactly what you're doing. It unfolds from what you hold. So, step one, know what you want to become. Step two, rehearse what you have become over and over and over and watch the feeling. Catch the feeling of it. Oh, yes. Step three, bask in the feeling of it. And then the light turns green, go on about your day. You get to another red light, do it again. Green light, go. Live. Why? Because you know that when you say, I am that, I am. When you say, I am that, do you believe it? There's only one condition, just one, to help you believe what you say. You know, they tell you don't get high off your own supply, right? Get high off your own supply. It's your imagination. Here's the question. So we're just supposed to imagine? Where does the faith without works is dead come into play? Then you imagine what you say you want to become. The faith is, I am that. That's the faith. You know what? I saw it. I am it. That's the faith. Because then what happens from there? You are compelled to act, to match what is in your mind's eye. So it is always in the mind's eye that sets the tone for what you do on the outside. So to get into the imagination, and we're always there, we always do it. I got up this morning. I didn't fall asleep arguing, I'll tell you that. But I got up. I got up and I had a wee bit of an argument, and I caught myself and I said, girl, you better stop. You better stop with this argument. But I was in my imagination having an argument, and I said, ooh, you better stop. Because I don't want an argument. I have it all planned out what I'm going to say. And then I want to be surprised when I have an argument. We are always imagining. And when we believe in what we imagine, we do it. So, as Neville says, works are the evidence that the faith I possess or profess is alive. I say, I'm rehearsing what I want to become. Why would I rehearse it if I don't believe it? You have to have some kind of belief in the thing you're rehearsing. So for me, yeah, you're damn right I believe there'll be an argument. I can't hide that from myself. So I believe it. That's why I rehearse it. And so then I must see the evidence of my belief. So the faith and the work cause effect. We think that faith means, when we hear faith without works is dead, faith, I gotta do something. Automatically, you will do something. Because of your faith, you will do something. This is the work. You will do it automatically. Automatically, it happens. BB, thank you for your questions. And exactly, but that's what we're always doing, BB. If you imagine properly, you move under the compulsion of what you have imagined. Here now we think we're making decisions. We move under compulsion of what we imagine. let that rest there while I tell everybody hello today, because I got to keep my eye on the time because it is snowing this morning and your girl's got to take it easy, right? Twitter is as Twitter is. Who is here on Fanbase? Ooh, Lord. See, I got started late this morning. Fanbase is full. Hey, everybody. KZ, Miss McQueen. Hello, honey, darling. Moon and Dolphin Duck. Miss Deborah is in the house. Stephanie. Ooh, and Mamani, you made it this morning. Hey, Ray Ray and Kim. Uh, Kimit. You made it today. Let me pop into the chat real quick and see. Um, yes, Grand Rising. Yes, indeed. Who's on YouTube this morning? We have Melly Mel. Ow. Hey, Melly Mel. I see you. And Be Wee. I see you. Well, you're the ones who made yourselves known in the chat here on YouTube. And for the rest of you, I see you. I see you. So when you go forth this beautiful Tuesday, check yourself. Eric, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I couldn't help myself. When you check yourself, it just simply means, what am I doing? Is this how I is this how I want to live my life? It's just a simple question, you know. And when you ask that question, oh, you know there'll be an answer. Oh, you know there is. You know there is an answer. Ask. Who you gonna ask? And I'm talking to the man in the mirror. You. You. And you know, we have this bad habit of thinking that humanity is somehow stupid. Humanity is not stupid. Humanity has been led to believe that they're stupid, that we're no more than apes. That's what humanity's been led to believe. So this beautiful day, you better shake that foolishness. I gotta shake you off, right? You have to shake that off today. You're not stupid. You're not foolish. But what's his name? William Blake. If a fool should continue in his folly, well, he'll become wise. Of course. But we're not foolish and we're not stupid. We are divine. So there's a level of reverence that comes with that. When you recognize that you are divine, you will behave differently. How did I manifest my job? Girl, Melly Mel, let me tell you. I was doing what everybody else did. Got online and I went to all the job thingies, the job websites. And you know, Reddit, I got to shout out Reddit. I was in these Reddit streets and I was like, why am I not getting any responses? Because this, my resume is like popping, okay? Like, what is going on? I started to feel some type of way about myself. And then because I asked the question, why am I not getting any responses? I was on Reddit and came across this subreddit talking about job scams, where a scammer would copy your job posting, attach their email because it's part of I want to say money laundering scheme. Oh yes. It was part of that. And I said, well, you don't say. And so somebody in the Reddit forum suggested, pay attention to see what the email is. And because I asked the question, why am I not getting any callbacks? I knew what I wanted. I wanted to do reception, right? And so I did what everybody else does. And then I came across my job. I came across the job posting and I saw the email address and I was like, it's a Gmail. This isn't right. So I looked up the company and I called them and I said, I saw your ad. Are you actually hiring? And they said, yes, we're hiring. I said, are you getting resumes? And they said, no. I said, let me tell you why you're not getting resumes. And I proceeded to tell them. And I said, listen, If you are still hiring, I will gladly send you my resume. 3 weeks later, I had the job. But here's something that happened. In that 3 weeks, this is in that 3 weeks, he didn't call me back after we had that conversation. And here I was feeling about myself like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Right? But he called me back. I felt like Daniel. He called me back and he says, listen, I would like you to come in for an interview. And I said, sure. I went down and he was not there. So I met with the CEO. Fancy that. I guess I left an impression. And so a day or two later, he calls me back and he says, listen, I apologize for missing you, but I want you to come back and meet with me this time. I guess they had a conversation, I don't know. And here we are with the job. I didn't do anything fancy. I just lived my life. I knew what I wanted because I know how being a receptionist makes me feel. I love it when the phone rings. It's a great day at Byron's Plumbing. This is Angela. I can help you. I love it. Listen, I love reception. I know how that makes me feel. And that's what I knew about myself. I just knew that. And so when I asked the question, well, why am I not getting any callbacks? The answer presented itself on those Reddit streets, which gave me an edge that I didn't know I needed because I didn't know there was a scam. So anyway, make a long story short, I knew what I wanted. I knew the type of job I wanted. Right? I knew the type of job I wanted because I know how I feel about being a receptionist. There's no greater thrill to me. You know how many people you get to talk to in a day? Like, oh my God. Anywho, that for me was the greatest thrill. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you I didn't waver. Of course I did, because that third week, Rent was like, so what we doing? Rent was like, what we doing? And I was like, I don't know. But here we are. Here we are. So know what you want. Rehearse how it makes you feel. And then just bask in it. Along the way, we falter because we're human and we give way, we yield to our senses. And we say, oh my God, I don't see anything. I don't hear any phone calls. I didn't even get an email. But you know, wherever I go, I cause a stir. I sure do. And I'm the best person for this job, let me tell you. But I digress. So you're welcome, Melly Mel. I'm sure you didn't expect that, but you know the drama, right? But we're in it now, and so I'm having to really um refocus myself and recognize what I am and not waver from there. So, my beautiful friends, thank you all for being here on such a glorious day. If I peek out the window, oh yeah, the sky is gray. It's not black. The sky is gray. It's just cloudy, with all that snow we've got coming in there, right? It's good to see you, Kimenthia. It is. It really is. Um, Listen, just take pleasure in knowing that the principles, take pleasure in knowing that the principles are there. And listen, you can make them your friends if you want to. They are impartial, they don't care. But you can make them your friends if you want to. You can say to yourself, "Ooh, look, it's correspondence. As within, so without, as above, so below, correspondence. Let's do it today. We are friends, honey. What am I on the inside? Oh, let's get it on the outside. Come on, correspondence." But perhaps you might like rhythm and you say, "Ooh, what's my habit? How do I move in this world? What's that pattern I got?" Yeah. Well, let me move with it, rock with it, lean with it. What? That's my rhythm. Perhaps that's you, but perhaps you are like Oracle Treehouse, and she says the all is mind. The universe is mental. What I got going on in there? Who do I say that I am? Perhaps that's you and you're like her. But maybe you're like vibration and you hit it. You pull a Marky Mark. You say, good vibration. Sweet sensation. Maybe that's you when you love vibration. And you move through the world feeling, because that is vibration. But perhaps you are the somber type like polarity. And you say, you and I are no different. Pro, anti, we are the same. Just by varying degrees. Polarity. You can be any one of those things, but you can say, maybe I am gender today. I am generating an idea and I will mentally impregnate myself with it. Maybe that's you. But perhaps, don't forget, you might say, well, I am the cause. What effect do I want to bring about today? Well, let me choose my cause. Oh, yes. You could be any one of those things. And let me tell you, when you are one, you are all. Oh. Say it with me. When you are one, you are all, baby. It doesn't matter which principle you choose. It doesn't matter which principle you choose. It is only one principle showing you how it works. Anywho, time has gotten away. I chased time away. Let me get the chime this beautiful, glorious Tuesday. What chime shall we use? Let's encourage daylight. So we're going to use the daytime chime. And as you hear the chime this morning, give thanks for what you say. Because you know how they are in the world, they tell you practice gratitude. Ugh, such a cliche phrase. Let me tell you why you practice gratitude. Because the principles are ever in your bosom. And every day it says, I am with you always. And because I am with you, you can be secure. You can't be secure in money. Phew, they burnt that in Germany to stay warm. Oh. You can't be secure in food. 1 minute it's here, it's gone. You can be secure in the principles and you will guarantee money and you will guarantee food. Because it is the principles that are ever, ever loyal. That is why you're grateful. Because it is with them that you are sure of your existence. But I digress. So let us chime in and maybe he might sing again. I don't know. Maybe he's just tired of me. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. Go forth this day and yield. Oh, but it is beautiful, you know. Yield. It's okay. I gotta do it too. Don't fret. We in this together. We'll be yielding together, my beautiful friends. I love you all, and I'll see you tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Fanbase. I forget which one we're reading. I forget which one we're reading, but we're reading Neville Goddard again. So you know how we'll kick it, right? Anywho, Fanbase, hold on. You know we always hang out for 5 more minutes. Well, I gotta boil this water for my tea, but and then start the car and brush it off. I wasn't ready. But alas, I yield to winter and the beauty and serenity of it. Because it really is beautiful, you know. Winter. I'm trying to convince myself, but actually, no. The beauty of winter is lovely. It really is. From indoors. Let me stress that part. From indoors, but I digress. Anyhow, I'll see you tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twitter is closed. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Love you. I'll see you later. Melly Mel. Ow. Yeah, be we.